So today we are going to continue with array methods. And the first one we are going to be discussing is sort. Sort. So sort is a method that is used to sort an array in a particular order, either descending or ascending. So let's take, for example, const A equals to 1, 4, 3, 6, 2, 9. You see that this is not ordered. It's not increasing order or descending order. It's just scattered. So there are some times you need your array to be in a descending order. You need your array to be in a descending order or ascending order. This is where sort comes in handy. So if we do console.log a.sort, if we run this, you see easy peasy. Do you see the result? It sorts it in ascending order without much effort. So if we want to sort the array in the other order, we have to use what is called reverse. Reverse. So remember that, let's make sure we understand this. This is sorted. Now, what happens if I print my old data, A? You see, your sorting returns the sorted array and as well modifies the actual array. So I want you to know this. This one will return you the sorted array as the output, as well as the old array will be altered. You see it here that it is sorted. So I want you to take note of that. So when you want to sort in the reverse order, you use sort together with reverse. So now, before we use it together, let's know what reverse does. So console.log reversed a.reverse. When you do this, reverse will do exactly what the name says. Is to reverse, meaning reverse the array the other way. So it is going to take the last one to become the first, and so forth. So you see, this one started it. Now, 1 is the end after reverse. And 9, which is last, becomes first. So it will just reverse the array in the other order. Now, it is not sorting the array. Take note of that. It's just going to take an array that you gave to it and reverse the values. So you can see here 9, 2, 6, 3. So this is not in descending order. So in order for us to get a descending order, we have to use it in conjunction with sort. So our sort will always sort in ascending order. But if we want to reverse it, we use reverse to apply on the array. So if we call sort, then reverse, then you see that the result becomes descending. 9, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do we understand the flow?
Yes. Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, when you say that sort alters the main array, so is it advisable anytime you want to do a sort, you have to declare a variable for it and assign whatever you want to do instead of doing
No, it depends on what you want to achieve, right? So if you really do not need to preserve this array, you just want it sorted, then you don't need to worry about keeping a copy of this array. So all you have to do is just call a.sort. You don't need to even assign it to any variable. Once you call this, your A list becomes sorted. So if you print here .log A, you will see that your A is sorted. You see it. This is your A at the top. Your A is sorted. So the next thing, you want it reversed. So you can just call array reverse because you want it in the other order. So once you do this, if you print your array again, you will see that it is now reversed. So you don't need to assign it to any variable because it is modifying the initial variable. Understood?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So by default, I told us that sort function sort values in ascending order, and is also sorting them as a string. So, which means you can also sort. Let's create a list B and put A, D, G, B, E, and C. All right, let's see what happens here. So if we console.log b.sort, you see A, B, C, D, E, G. It has sorted the ABC. So by default, your sort is actually sorting a string. So while we have numbers here, sort is treating them as a string and is sorting them accordingly. So you can see that A, B, C, D, it also knows how to sort it, alphabetical order. And you can also do reverse the same way we use it, reverse and print B. You see it in the other order. So it's not only for numbers, but it also works with string. And by default, it's treating everything as a string. Understood?
Yes.
All right, so now there are some times that because sort is sorting as a string, it can return incorrect results when you just call sort. Let's take this out. We are dealing with this. Let's make another list that has more weird numbers or bigger numbers. So if you do c.sort, let's see the result we get there. 1, 10, 100, 25, 45. I'm pretty sure you know that this is not sorted. Do you see this?
Yes.
This is not sorted. Now, to sort, it has sorted this because 1, 1, 1, and 2, that is what it's using. So because 1 is less than 2, you put 1 first and 2 next. It doesn't understand that this is 100 and this is 25. It's just looking at the initial and comparing. You see 4 and 5, but this is 40 and this is 5. So it's putting 4 before 5. That is what the default behavior is doing. So it's seeing these numbers as a string. All right. So in order for us to overcome this challenge, sort takes a parameter and is a function to tell it how to compare the data. Because the default behavior is not correct, now we need to tell it how to compare the data. Do you understand now? So you have to pass in, let's bring this out so that we don't get a lot of confusion here because it's about to get tough. So this sort accepts a parameter and is a function. So you can define a function, call it your sort if you wish, and the function takes 2 parameters, which is a and b. That is the 2 value that you want to compare. So what sort does is that it's going to pass you 2 value in here, and you have to compare these 2 value to return the one that is higher. So we are going to do return. So because we are comparing numbers, we want to say a minus b. So if a is bigger than b, it's going to return a positive number. But if a is less than b, it's going to return a negative number. That is how your sorting will understand which one is bigger and which one is less. So if you pass this sort, let's call this sort function, so we understand that it's different from this sort when you are looking at it in the future. So if you put in this as the parameter, remember I told you that the parameter it accepts is a function. So we have defined the function here, and we are passing the name of the function into it. Now, remember, we are not calling the function. We are passing the name of the function to it. We are not invoking the function. We just pass the name of the function. So sort knows how to invoke our function and pass these two parameters to it. And it's going to do it for every individual of this element while it is sorting it. So if we run this code now, let's see what we get. Now, you see the result. Now it is correctly arranged the way we would have wanted. You can also do something like A greater than B here. And you see the result is not tangible because it doesn't understand the Boolean values that is being returned, because this will return Boolean value. That is why we do the calculation for the sort method to understand which one is bigger. So if you do this, you see the order is super correct. That is when you are operating with numbers. You know, only numbers we can do mathematical calculations like this. So when you are operating with numbers, so let me put it here, sorting numbers, you can do this. Now, it's not a must you define the function separately before you pass it in like this. You can decide to do your sorts and pass the function inside. So, but while passing the function like this, you don't have to assign a name to it. It doesn't need to be named because you are passing it directly. So you pass it like this and you achieve the same thing. So you put A and B and you return from the function the mathematical calculation of A and B. And once you run this, if I comment this, if you run this, you get the same result. You see? So this is the two ways in which you can pass a function to a sort method. Do we have any question at this point?
No. Okay, so this A and B, does JavaScript understand that maybe the first parameter is the first? Is it a smaller number now, or the first? How does it know that A is like A minus B will give a smaller number?
Yeah, that's what I explained earlier. I said sort function knows how to call this function and pass it two values that it wants to compare. So your function needs to return it a value to tell it which one is bigger. Now, the return value that sort expects from your function is three values: negative, if A is less than B, or return 0 if they are equal, or return positive value if A is bigger than B. So this is the three results. That is why when I put greater than here, it didn't give us good results, because that will always return true or false. But JavaScript is expecting a negative number or a 0 or a positive number. So positive number means A is greater than B. 0 means the two numbers are equal. And that is why we are doing A minus B, which means A minus B will give us a positive number if this is greater. Let's say our A is 3 and B is 2, it's going to give us 3 minus 2, which is 1, and that is positive. If A and B is equal, say A is 2 and B is 2, 2 minus 2 will give you 0, and that is this. If A is less, it will give you negative because 2 minus 3 will give you minus 1. So that is how this calculation solves that problem, or solves the output that is being expected. So if we want to sort the other way, we just change this to B minus A, and you see that your sorting will change to the reverse order. Is that clear now? So you don't need reverse if you are passing your own compare function. All right. Any question?
No question.
JavaScript provides us a math object that we can use to do some calculation and also manipulate arrays. So for example, if you want to generate a random number, you can do MATH.RANDOM, and it will generate you a random numbers. So if you do console log this, you will see a random number. If you run it again, you'll get something different. If you run it again, you'll get something different. So it's always generating a random number. So you can also decide to sort your list in a random way. So maybe you just want to shuffle the list. Maybe you're playing you're developing a game and you want to shuffle card. So a list of cards, you just want to shuffle it and pick one. You can decide to sort it in a random way. So if we do this, let's say we want to sort this list in a random way, we can say 0.5 minus maths.random. Remember, we are not using the A and B that is being passed. We are just putting it in a random way. So if we run this, you see the results. 100, 5. If you look at our actual list, it starts with 40, 100, and 1, 5, and the rest. So this is that. So if I run it again, you will see that it will give you different results. If I run it again, you will get different arrangements. So that is what random does for us. So also want to know that the random it returns is random number between 0 to 0.9, 0 to 1. I think it returns 1 at some point. So you see the number doesn't go above that. You see this. You see this. So that is the random generation. So that's why I used 0.5 here to do minus. So if it gets above 0.5, it's going to return negative. If it returns 0.5, it's going to be 0. If it goes below, it's going to be positive. So this is following the rule, but this one is the one changing the order of the list to a random position. Now, what if we want to get the maximum, that is in our array, we want to get which value is big, the max value, and which one is the lowest value. Now, you can do that in several ways. You can decide to sort your list, and let's comment this. Let's use our A, for example. If you want to sort your list, you can do A dot sort. Remember that sort is going to make it ascending order. So if you want to get the largest number, all you have to do is return the last index, which is A dot length minus 1. So if you do this, you're going to get the highest, which is 9. You see here, the highest is 9. And if you want to get the lowest, you can just access index 0, and it's going to give you the lowest. Wait, let's print this to know what's going on here. A. Yeah, so it's going to give you 1. I didn't press the run. So it's going to give you 1, which is the lowest. So this is one way of getting the max and min of a list. Make a list of numbers that is random. Use sort function to sort the array. Get the minimum and maximum of those array values. Then in array of strings, get the string with the longest and shortest letter. Just like the way you get minimum and maximum number. In a string, I want you to get me the one that has the longest length and shortest length in character.